So I think you know by now, if you've been listening, that I'm not asking you to believe anything that I say. I'm just here to share experiences with you in the hope that it'll get you curious and allow a shift to happen within you in the same way that it happened within me. And you'll hear people, talking about awareness and presence um, and the ego and this space of being beyond the mind and all sorts of things. But it means nothing until you bring it alive. And it's about looking. It's not something that they have that you don't have. That's the thing. When we look at someone else who's, it looks like they're separate from us and they're on a screen and they're talking, and it's like, oh yeah, what do they have that I don't have? And we kind of immediately experience our separation, and we might be having a lot of narrative in our head, and we're thinking, and I would say, for these, I don't know, 5-10 minutes while I'm chattering, you could just let the narrative just be there in the background. Notice every now and then it might get louder or it might quieten down, and if you leave it alone, it doesn't matter. And because I'm just always pointing to something that opens up a bit more choice and brings you some relief. Because I was going to talk about when we take life personally and how I used to take life incredibly personally. I used to think that everyone lived in Kate's world, Kate's reality. There's a fly buzzing around. That can be like our thoughts in the background. Just let it be there. And I didn't see that we all live in separate realities. I didn't see what I see now. And so I used to be, guided by this whole idea that we're kind of taught that life happens to us. And we're taught that, other people can hurt our feelings. From a very young age, like at school, you hurt her feelings, or he's hurting her feelings. And it's kind of ingrained, instilled in us that someone else can hurt our feelings. And it's like, what if this isn't true? When we think that other people are hurting our feelings, it's a really precarious way to live, because we're constantly trying to manage what other people are saying and doing so that we can feel okay. It's just like, oh, they said this and now I don't feel okay. And we get kind of reactive and we get lost in it. And then we resist it and we say they shouldn't be saying that. And I remember this one woman, she was like, oh my God, Kate, I've become Teflon. She used to just absorb, take life so personally, absorb everything. And she's like, I don't need to absorb it. And I was talking to someone whose mother is, struggling with her experience of depression, and she's getting quite reactive and she's getting quite aggressive, and she's throwing a lot of stuff at her daughter. And her daughter was saying to me, she shouldn't be saying this, she shouldn't be doing this, she's blaming me, and she's getting really aggressive, and I've told her that I'm not going to see her anymore if she keeps hurting me like this, and if she was really struggling with what her mum was kind of throwing out her way. And I was kind of saying to her, I said, look, your mum, just right now in this moment, your mum's lost. She's lost in her narrative, in her experience, in her story, in that, egoic, having to be right. And it always kind of needs a reaction. It kind of feeds off, just like throws out this angry stuff your way. And if you imagine, someone is like throwing it at you, and as you come on this journey, you start to see a different choice. Because before, what I would do is I would pick it up. They'd throw it at my feet, for example, and then I would pick it up and I would wear it. And I would be like, oh my God, this is heavy. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you saying this to me? You're hurting me. You're making me experience this. You're making me, you know, you're offending me, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be making me feel this way. And it would feel really heavy. And you'd lose connection with someone. You'd say, oh, I'm not seeing you again. You just have people fall out, and then they, you know, you hear about families who just haven't talked to each other for years. And what I started to see was, and I said this to this person, I said, your mum, she's really lost in her experience. And she's throwing stuff out there. And it's landing at your feet. And she's not actually asking you to pick it up. You know, it's like she can't make you pick it up. She can't make you take it personally. But you're doing that. You're doing that yourself. You pick it up, and you hold on to it, and then you go into resistance, and then you start to feel it, then you start to wear it, and then you blame the other person. It's like, you shouldn't make me feel this way. And this is about, I'm not telling you anything. I'm just saying, question. Are they making you feel this way? Really? Do they have that power? Really? Or is it actually you and your resistance and the meaning that you're giving it? And actually, when you see this for yourself, which takes reflection, which takes a willingness to kind of just to ponder, because you'll either listen to this and go, oh, that's just crap, and then you'll move on and switch off, and that's fine. Or you'll listen in this sort of open space where, I don't know what Kate's talking about. And in that space, you're opening the door. And in that space is when change happens. It's not because we're actively doing and trying, it's just change starts to kind of creep in. Awareness starts to shift. That's what happened to me. I wasn't looking for this. I wasn't on some journey to find this. I was on a journey to fix my daughter. When she got anxious, I thought, right, I need to find a way to fix her, to bring her out of this. I wasn't looking at, I wasn't wanting anything for me. It's kind of like that happened by accident. And that's why I kind of say it's a gift that lands on us when we get a bit quieter and a bit curious. And then we realize that life isn't personal. And then we realize, and what happens is when someone gets, lost in their experience and they get reactive and they get, they kind of throw things at you like, you're making me feel like this. It's because you're so controlling. It's because you're, always, I don't know, at me, or it's all your fault. And we either pick it up and wear it and we'll feel it, it's heavy, or we let it just be there. And when we let it be there, we're not giving it energy, we're not giving it breath, we're not bringing it alive, we're not doing anything with it. And it's amazing what happens, because you then see someone beyond it. You connect with them beyond whatever it is that they're lost in and stuck in, and you realize that, God, life is not happening to us. We're always, giving things a meaning, or resisting, or reacting. And when you step outside of your experience, and for me, what I would do is, for example, when my daughter would get lost in stuff, she would get quite reactionary and she would throw it my way, and I would take it personally and I would feel it. And then I would kind of, sometimes physically, I would step out of the room and I'd sit quietly and go, where are you, Kate? What are you doing? What are you bringing alive? What are you taking personally? She's not asking you to do anything with it. And then it would all just fall away, because I'm not picking it up. I'm not giving it life. I'm not doing anything with it. And then I'd kind of go and sit with her in a different space, and it would kind of just, when I wasn't giving it energy and I wasn't resisting it and doing anything with it, it wasn't hurting me. when I wasn't taking it personally and giving it a meaning, it had nothing to do with me. It looks like it does because someone is saying, this is yours, this is your fault, this is you. But actually, it's an illusion, because when we don't pick it up and give it a meaning and start wearing it ourselves, it just moves on. And then you get to connect with that person, and then they get to connect with this kind of space that makes more sense, and they get to feel your compassion, because you know they're a bit lost. You know they're lost in their experience in that moment. You know they don't mean it. You know that they're just throwing it out there because they're completely, I don't know, terrorizing. You know, just they're scared of their own experience or whatever it is they're bringing alive. And then you experience compassion and connection, where moments earlier there was resistance and kind of annoyance and irritation, and nothing's changed on the outside, but you can see what you're doing, and then you reconnect and everything changes. And I'm going to share it with you now, but I'm going to do it in a separate video, and just to give you a breather from my voice, and a way that I saw this, kind of a metaphor. So I'll be back in a sec.